Now, Stephen Jenkins is a self-described recovering piano student who helps people with busy schedules learn piano in a unique way that doesn't require them to take lessons. And he's here just now. How are you today?
Hey, I'm doing great, Toby. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great as well. Now, what actually is this unique way that you teach people to learn piano in?
Okay, well, it really breaks away from the norm in the sense that it doesn't require a person to learn sheet music or anything like that. So
Hmm.
I came up with a system that's actually color coded and it works very well for visual learners. So a lot of people really are um, digging, the results. They're learning piano a lot faster than what they would have otherwise.
Hmm. And does that work for everyone, or does some people maybe they're better off just doing it the normal way?
There are people that are better off doing it the normal way.
Yeah.
The reason I came up with this though is to help the other people that
Hmm.
the normal way, quote unquote, doesn't work for, which is
Yeah.
quite a lot of people.
Yeah. I think there's a statistic, isn't there? Like 80% of people who take lessons quit.
Yep, yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, and actually that's within the first year, so
Hmm.
it's kind of sad when you think about it.
Yeah. That must be annoying for piano teachers as well, that most of their
It is.
students end up leaving.
It is, and I think in talking to a lot of piano teachers, because I've been at this for 10 years in development, and they're just as frustrated as the students are because nobody
Yeah.
really understands what's going on there, the dynamics.
And learning piano the normal way can be quite frustrating, can't it? When you're maybe hit the wrong note, you just feel like you want to smash up the piano. Does your system help with the frustration a little bit?
It eases the anxiety
Mm,
and the stress that's usually there. Really, and that's really one of the things that sets this apart. Not only is it meant to help just anybody, that just walks up to a piano, never touched a piano before. It helps them to be able to play piano, but I
mm,
really take pride in the fact that there's no pressure there
yeah.
involved in the interaction.
So, how did you actually come up with the format and the structure of this method then?
Well, the way I came up with it, obviously, I started with a piano. So,
Mm,
as you know, Toby, my story, I took piano lessons 5 times and I quit 5 times.
yeah.
And I almost smashed up my piano. It's funny you mentioned that. But basically, I looked at a piano and I said, you know what? Let me think of something that's easier. And so
Yeah.
I went with the natural look of a piano and just came up with a system that allows a person to just really easily slide into understanding how to play.
And what actually is that system? What are the sort of basics of it that makes it unique?
Yeah, I can show you basically part of the method. Basically, I
Yeah.
created these piano templates, and you can see it kind of mimics the piano
Hmm.
setup with the black and white lines, right? But then you
Yeah.
have color codes and letters and numbers that show you exactly which piano keys to play. So there's never any question in your mind as to what to play on the piano. It's very simple and easy to follow.
Yeah, that's interesting. It does look a little bit complicated, but I guess with some simple explaining, you'd be able to get your head around it, right?
Right. Yeah. So the way I compare it to is you have to learn when you learn the dynamics of how to use the piano templates, then you're empowered to take control. But it
Yeah.
is a process to learn that. It's
Mm.
going to be a whole lot easier though than I don't know if you've ever seen sheet music, but it can get
Yeah.
quite elaborate.
Yeah. That is because sheet music is a weird thing as well because, I just kind of played keyboard because at school we were sort of made to play an instrument, and I always had to think about right what's that note and sort of count it and stuff. It's awkward, isn't it? Really.
It is, and I talk on my website about there is a place for that.
Mm,
If somebody comes in early as a child and they actually want to take it to concert level or something like that, then yeah, there's
mm,
a proper place for that. But uh, a lot of people simply just want to enjoy playing piano. So that's what I'm
yeah.
here for, help out the remainders.
And if somebody's learning piano your way, could they perhaps get teased a little bit if they're not playing traditional sheet music? People might not think that they're a proper pianist.
They could, yeah, and there's a lot of judgment from the piano playing community, but that
Yeah.
also to me is part of. So I'm not just all about the method. I'm also about the mindset of breaking free from anything that is holding us back from doing what we want to do. So a lot
Yeah.
of people when they quit piano lessons, and it's the majority of the people, they think it's over. So
Yeah.
they just kind of close the door. And I'm trying to help people to reopen that door and look at things in a different way.
Hmm. And you actually quit piano lessons 5 times, as you mentioned. What was it that made you, after quitting the first 4 times, I guess, want to actually go back?
Yeah, so I'm working on a report right now about it. It's a common thing, Toby, that
Hmm.
people that take musical lessons, it stays in their blood. And whether they succeeded or not, people tend to keep coming back and they try one thing or the next or the next or the next. And
Yeah.
so it's been the same with me. I can't get it out of my system. I love music and I want to be a big
Yeah.
part of it.
Did you ever consider maybe doing another instrument that could be easier, or was it specifically piano that you had your heart set on?
Well, my heart was set on piano. I did start learning guitar a few years back,
Yeah.
and I love the beauty of all instruments. I spent so much time focused on this one that I can't see myself really breaking away from it as being my
Yeah.
main instrument.
Yeah, definitely. Now, because there could be more success rates with this method, does that maybe make a pianist less unique, I suppose? Like, there would be more in the world and it wouldn't be as impressive anymore.
Yeah, I think it's time to open up that door, like I said, and
Yeah.
let the rest of us in. The somebody's going to take my method and do something else with it. It can
Mm.
be a stepping stone for a lot of people into their own musical creativity. Like I said, I look at things a lot in visual ways. So to me, that door is shut to so many people. And if we let them in and let them experience the joy and the beauty of making music through piano, then their uniqueness is going to come out naturally.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Do you think this method is the future, perhaps?
I hope it is.
Mm.
I firmly believe that it is going to help many people to do something that they feel is impossible,
Mm.
and that's what it inspires me. It drives me to help them in that
Yeah.
way.
And of course, could this work with other instruments as well? Because we mainly associate sheet music with piano, but other instruments like drums and guitar, you can still use a stave thing for that. So,
Absolutely.
could you transfer this method onto those instruments as well?
You surely could. I mean, you could
Mm.
transfer it onto mathematics, science,
Wow.
chemistry. I have a
Yeah.
son that I think he's a genius. He's really into chemistry, and he's only 8 years old. His name is Lyndon, and
Mm.
I'm just looking to see what is he going to do. But yeah, I really think the practice of simplification, which is what this is, it's very valuable to almost any industry or any type of art.
Yeah. Why aren't there more people called Lyndon anyway? You'd think a former president, it'd be quite a popular name.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's a good question. I actually, of course, my first name is Steve, and if you go anywhere, you
Yeah.
say, "Hey, Steve," there's 100 guys
Yeah.
that'll raise their hand and look at. So I intentionally named my son Lyndon because I did
Mm.
not want that.
Yeah,
And
that's
there's
super.
a British soul singer named Lyndon Hall,
Ah.
and so he was one of the inspirations behind my son's name.
Yeah, I think you got it about right because you want an obscure name, but not so obscure that you get bullied for it. Like, I saw an
Right.
article this morning about somebody who'd named their child Apricot, which
Oh, okay.
is kind of unfortunate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go that far.
Mm. Yeah. And is he quite musical or is he mainly in the sciencey
Oh,
expertise?
he's all over the place right now. He's
Yeah.
really into Legos. He's into
Oh,
chemistry, which is interesting, and then yeah, music too. So
yeah.
that's one of my problems when I sit down and get started playing piano. He stops me and he goes on and does his thing. So
Hmm. Yeah. And of course, this method also helps people with busy schedules. In what way? Is it just quicker to learn? Is it just simple like that?
It's quicker to learn. So with traditional piano lessons, it takes 5 to 10 years to be proficient enough
Yeah.
to where you feel comfortable at reading sheet music. My system, a novice could sit down and maybe in a month, if they really spend a little time with it, even sooner, they can play real songs on piano.
Wow.
So, but also there's no pressure to practice. It's at your own pace.
Mm.
It's there's a positivity component to it that is telling you you can do this. Don't listen to the naysayers. Forget about the past where it didn't work. You can play piano right now using
Yeah.
this method.
And 5 to 10 years, that's a good point because it is an investment. You have to
Oh yeah.
decide that you want to play piano and you're going to have to accept that it will take years, because we live in a time where we want everything now with
Yeah.
Amazon Prime and everything.
Yeah.
So a lot of people wouldn't really want to commit,
Well, they
wouldn't want to start piano lessons just to be good in
exactly.
10 years.
Yeah, they have no idea going into it.
Mm.
I think most, especially adults, when we go into piano lessons or musical lessons, we have specific goals in mind. We
Yeah.
want to play this, that, or the other. We want to join a band or do some personal recordings. No concept in mind, the study and practice component. It's going to take years, the
Mm.
traditional method. And that's why most people don't stick with it.
Yeah, and the other thing is as well. I guess they say that it's much easier to learn another language when you're really young, like a child. I
Yeah,
guess the same goes for instruments. So
it's
if you're
sure
learning
does.
the piano as an adult, you're gonna want to do it in an easier way.
Yeah, yeah. Time is more valuable at these older ages, right? We're
Yeah.
counting years. So yeah, and then you look at all the other stuff, Toby, like people have
Mm.
to work, right? You have to pay your bills, you have to help your kids with homework. So
Yeah.
those are the realities that kind of squeeze a person that's trying to learn a hobby or something like that, right?
Yeah. And how do we actually go about acquiring this method to play the piano? Do you teach it, or is it sort of just learn online in your own sort of time?
Yeah, I do one-on-one sessions with people as they need it, but
Yeah.
really when I sat down and did this, Toby, I said, how can I make this so easy that people don't need a human being to really help them? So
Yeah.
it's intentionally designed to be simple. And one of the slogans I use is we make piano as easy as ABC and 1, 2, 3, and literally that's what we do.
Yeah.
It's that easy.
Yeah. And these one-on-one sessions, I guess they're still sort of important to have them there just in case people are struggling.
Absolutely, because people need support. No matter
Yeah.
how easy something is, you need someone to explain, and you need someone that you know is going to be there to help you patiently through the
Yeah.
process. You're absolutely right. Yes.
Yeah. And I take it the one-on-one lessons are done online on something like Zoom. So how does that work? Because I guess in real life you would be able to kind of show them exactly
Mhm.
what to play with your own hands, whereas maybe it's a little bit awkward remotely.
Yeah. Well, the neat thing. So two things. The
Mm.
world now, since the pandemic, is used to remote interactions, right?
Yeah.
So we can set up our cameras together and we can talk just like we're doing right now. And a person can take these beautiful piano templates and follow through step by step while we're in that interaction. So
Yeah.
it works remarkably well just as it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And where can we find out all about this method of playing the
Yeah.
piano then?
So the best place, the hub of information is the website controlshiftpiano.com. And that's where you can tap into all the components because
Mm.
we only have a little time to talk about a little bit of it, but
Yeah.
it's a big, tremendous amount of resources, I would say.
Mm.
So controlshiftpiano.com.
Great. And of course, over time, do you think that there are ways that you could improve this system and perhaps make it
Oh,
even more accessible?
absolutely. The way it's gotten to where it is right now is continual feedback that comes from users,
Yeah.
people that, and really That's why I'm so glad I was able to open it up about a year ago, because that feedback has led to further improvements on the product. So it's gonna keep getting better and better and better as time
Great.
goes by.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thanks very much for coming on the show today. It's been great to have you on.
Thank you so much. It's been a great opportunity, and I love your show. I love everything you're doing, Tony.